I'm sorry, little one.
What did it cost?
$700.
What is going on, everybody? So recently I went away for a couple days and I brought both my ROG Ally and my Steam Deck. And during that time, all I did was look through my Steam library to see which games I haven't installed on my ROG Ally. And I gave the system some benefit of the doubt. And I tried to start up Cry Primal on my Steam Deck. And of course, it required some kind of update and for me to put in my login credentials. And I already have Cry Primal as a third-party game on my ROG Ally, specifically because I don't like all of that launcher nonsense. You have to go through Ubisoft Launcher in order to update this, and you have to update the Ubisoft Launcher and the game. And then there's the shader cache that the Steam Deck throws in, so you won't get any stuttering here and there. But on my ROG Ally, I have all of those launcher games as third-party games. I bought the game first and then I downloaded the third-party version. And with these specific types of games, you can't really go online, so I mainly use this type of way to play specifically for single-player games. And so I started up my ROG Ally and started playing Cry Primal. And Cry Primal actually plays a lot better on the ROG Ally in performance mode. In turbo mode, it's ridiculous. But I was on the road and I had my power bank and the game lasted about 5 hours and counting because I had a 30,000 milliamp hour power bank with me. And in this moment, I realized that with certain games, the Steam Deck had some shortcomings. And up till that point where I brought both my Steam Deck and ROG Ally, I only brought my Steam Deck because there are specific games that I installed on there that I didn't on my ROG Ally. But I've slowly started to take my Steam Deck SD cards and convert them, format, and use them specifically on my ROG Ally. Mainly because I can just take out the SD card where I have my installed games and just put them in my Alienware laptop if I wanted to. I can also record and take screenshots for any video that I'm working on. Just having Windows on a device makes it so much easier to convert any file to my main computer. So specifically with third-party titles, games that require launchers, and converting files from my ROG Ally to my main PC, because of those factors and just the convenience of it, and the fact that I don't need to worry about an update every single time I start up a game because there's some kind of new shader cache update, I'm honestly not even sure why so many games, especially older ones like Resident Evil 5, require so many shader cache updates for the Steam Deck. Do people even care about stuttering that much? I honestly don't. Maybe there is a lot of stuttering in games like Call of Duty Remastered and Infinity War, but honestly, a lot of people don't really care about those games either. Besides Call of Duty games, stuttering isn't a real issue with other titles. It comes and goes, but on the Steam Deck, stuttering happens a lot too, especially with Call of Duty games. I remember Advanced Warfare was stuttering a whole bunch, but it ran at a perfect 60 FPS. Stuttering mainly just happens because the SD card is very slow. Whenever I play those games from an SSD or a hard drive, that very rarely happens. That's not even the main reason why my Steam Deck is collecting dust, at the moment anyway. It's mainly because you need to verify most of your games every 2 weeks. So if you've left your Steam Deck off for a while and then you remember it and want to go on a road trip or on a plane, most likely most of your games, about 80% of your games, are going to require an online verification. So that means if you're on an airplane, tough luck. Your Steam Deck is most likely, in most ways, useless because you need to verify your games, and it's been a specific amount of time that requires you to verify your games online. But with my ROG Ally, there's been points where I haven't connected to the internet for 5 days, and because I have specific third-party titles that don't require any kind of verification, customization, or tweaking, those games just play right away. So yesterday I looked at my Steam Deck and I thought, man, the competition is very aggressive at the moment for this device. And a lot of the times when I pick up my Steam Deck, when it's been a couple days, I get surprised at how heavy it is compared to the ROG Ally. And the ROG Ally is just so much lighter in comparison. And sure, a lot of people may say that it's not as comfortable, but honestly, when something is heavier, it automatically is uncomfortable after a while. And I remember getting a few cramps while laying on my bed playing my Steam Deck, specifically because the Steam Deck weighs a lot. So there were those those instances where I chose not to play my Steam Deck and I chose to play my ROG Ally simply because the ROG Ally is lighter and in most cases more powerful. And it's only been a year since the Steam Deck came out. I did not anticipate already looking at it and feeling like it was obsolete. I honestly don't feel like it's completely obsolete. I think just having my games readily available for me and the convenience of having Windows on the go has become more appealing than having Steam OS and trying to understand it over and over and over again when there's some kind of update. I'm sure there will be a time where I'm just completely used to Steam OS, but as for those constant shader updates, I don't think I'll ever get used to that because I want to play a game and I just want it to freaking start, and then a shader update comes and it's about a 10 to 20 minute wait just to play a game. It's a video game and I'm waiting for it as if I'm gonna see a doctor for some kind of important update on my health. It's a video game and I'm waiting 20 minutes for a shader cache update every single time, almost every single time. And that's if I'm online. If I'm not online, most likely the game will work. But sometimes, because it is Steam as a whole, you'll download something called Steam Redistributables. And that is pretty much to me like saying a curse, because Steam Redistributables, the second it downloads, it makes certain titles that you had installed before on your previous SD cards completely useless, because every single redistributable file like DirectX or some kind of Windows file related to the game pretty much gets uninstalled. Because honestly, if you were to compile the Steam Redistributables on top of each other, as well as the compat data and the shader cache, that would be a gigaton of data. So Steam Redistributables just deletes the last one and installs a new one. And if you're playing offline and you haven't installed new ones, most likely your game just won't start for one reason or another. And I wish there was some kind of pattern to this, but it is completely random. So playing third-party games, buying them first and then playing them, just doing it because I can say I bought it, and then playing a third party anyway, is mainly because there was a time where I completely gave up on Steam as a platform. And I just didn't like it anymore. I didn't like Ubisoft, Origin, or EA, whatever they call themselves, Epic Games Launcher. I didn't like any of that. I didn't like switching from one to another. So I just found the game online, bought it first, and then played it third party without worrying about having to verify if I'm a thief or not. I already bought the game. Why am I verifying it online every single time? It's not like my digital game is going to find a new owner. It's a digital game. It's going to stay there. That's its job. So verifying it after 15 days is such a weird thing to do. And I feel like it's only because they have some kind of deal with these internet providers that you have to go online every so often. You need to do this. It's some kind of mandatory martial law crap going on here. I'm just flexing my rights to have a game without needing to verify with my boss or master if I can play it or not. I earned that money and I'm trying to play my game. So I get third-party games from saints on the internet that risked their butts uploading that specific game so I can play a third party. And honestly, this is the single reason why I'm not playing my Steam Deck as much. After realizing, hey, I can just play any third-party game I want and I can officially play it offline whenever the hell I want, has been a big turning point for me in liking my ROG Ally more than my Steam Deck. And I've tried it multiple times. A lot of the third-party games I've tried in the past that have worked sometimes just don't work anymore. There have been games that aren't even available on Steam anymore that are third-party games that just do not work on Steam Deck, or it has some kind of interface issue. Of course it does, Steam Deck. Of course, Valve. You make it impossible for us to play third-party games because they're hinging everything on us spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on their games instead of just trying it first or playing some kind of third-party game after buying their game. I have so many games on Steam, but I feel like I'm lacking the freedom to play them properly or whenever I want or wherever I want. Valve says your games are going places. Well, not too far from home, hopefully, because you need to verify every 10 days or so. I just feel like having a little asterisk after that would prove beneficial to people trying to buy the Steam Deck and play it anywhere they want, truly. But of course, everything has a catch, and the Steam Deck has the biggest catch. You're working with Linux, so it's going to be hard to start any third-party software that you usually would on Windows, and you specifically have to use Steam as a platform if you don't want anything to be complicated. But if you want something to be complicated, then oh yeah, it's going to be complicated when you try those other launchers on there. Because yeah, sure, you can bring up the launcher, and I like how a lot of people show, hey look, I can play EA launcher, Epic Games launcher, and all those other launchers that people say I can't. How about you open the launcher and see how easy it is? See if you can actually open it without some kind of BS telling you have to update this, or your computer does not exist. Try to find the root root link and you have to go through this imaginary route in order to get to your files. I already been through that with the EA launcher in Origin, or Epic Games launcher, or Ubisoft launcher. I've been through that with every single one of them, and they are so massively inconvenient to work with. At least with Windows, it's just one click away and it feels like it's supposed to be there. But you have to go through all these hurdles in order to bring up these launchers on your Steam Deck. And they are hurdles. They are most likely something you're going to dread if you think about playing your video games, and nobody should dread to play one of their video games. Video games are just to get away from stress and to not think about anything like that. So yes, with my ROG Ally, I simply play high on life and I don't need to worry about any other launcher. I don't have to worry about anything like that. I simply bought it on Steam and I play it third party all the time, and it just plays. It's like the old Nintendo 64 games. You put the cartridge in and it works. Why can't we just have that with PC games? Is it because we're too smart? Maybe that's a good reason. But at the same time, if we are that smart, then if we want to support you, we will support you. Most likely, if these smart people are not supporting you and playing third-party games on your Steam Deck, then they got your Steam Deck for another reason. They didn't get it to be a slave to the Steam platform. And a lot of people are slaves out there, and they're blindly defending the Steam platform. And honestly, that's really sad, because I grew up in a time where people had freedom and they actually thought outside of the box. But it seems like the thing that people think is cool is to be inside of the box, like some kind of soldier in a Cold War. Makes no sense why you have this device that can do anything, but you can't do anything. And if you do anything, then it will most likely make your experience a lot more difficult, like the Steam Deck. And so those are the main reasons why my Steam Deck is collecting dust at the moment, for those big reasons that everybody should have. I don't feel like if you're playing a Steam Deck that you're a slave to the platform. I think the people that are defending it and blatantly not realizing that by defending it, you are supporting those online verifications and external launchers and all of these ridiculous things that only exist so you can play a freaking video game. So I do support it and I play it on the Steam Deck, but I feel kind of guilty when I just play it on the Steam Deck now, because I can play any game whenever I want on my ROG Ally, and I truly mean whenever I want, and not just saying that to prove some kind of point. Playing games on ROG Ally is true freedom. Sure, you don't have everything highlighted for you like you're some kind of 12-year-old that can't find the door. Just find a way to play your game in desktop mode or in Armory Crate, and you'll find a way to play any game you want, anywhere, anytime, truly. And if you need to save a lot of battery, I advise putting the system in hibernation mode, which is readily available in Armory Crate, and you will waste practically nothing in a week if you have it in sleep mode or in hibernation mode, and you can just start it back up and resume your game. That was enough verification for me to know that the ROG Ally is a substantial handheld PC device. And I get a lot of people hate Windows, but you get all the freedom you want on that platform. While with Linux and SteamOS, honestly, saying that it's a new platform and showing their hate for Windows and getting success from their hate for Windows is a bit shady in my opinion, because no platform should be so limited right off the bat. The appeal should be the freedom from the platform and not just the fact that, hey, you can play 100 games, congratulations. It should be, we're ready for launch. You can play any game you want. You can play any third-party game you want. But of course, no. They made an excuse saying we're a starting platform. I don't want to be your beta tester. Hire people and make them your beta testers, because right now people are still beta testing the Steam Deck. It's still in beta mode because it can't play everything and it's having a lot of issues with certain third-party games. And honestly, that just seems like a pipe dream to me. Waiting on the Steam Deck to potentially play all Windows games or to convert all Windows games to Linux titles. And that's not going to happen for at least another 10 years. So you think to yourself then, if they're not going to do what they say in a timely manner, and if it may never happen, what is the purpose of making Linux and SteamOS their main operating system? It's to sell games, you chump. It's because Steam wants to sell games. They want to promote games with a shiny verification or false verification that they put on their titles just so you can buy the game. Hey, look, this is verified. Whoa. Have you played The Last of Us Part 1? That game is verified and it looks like dirt. I get the PSP technically did this. It's saying, hey, we have Prince of Persia on the PSP and the game looked terrible. And I get they're making some kind of market out of it, but if I can't play a third-party title like Spider-Man Web of Shadows that I've always wanted to play on the go on the Steam Deck, it doesn't matter how many titles you have available. I'm always going to be thinking, of Spider-Man Web of Shadows on my Steam Deck. I'm always going to be thinking, I want to play this game no matter what. That's where the ROG Ally comes in. You can play any game you want, any third-party game, and you could actually create on the Windows platform. So you can create your game and play it on your ROG Ally. You can test it out on the go. True freedom for people that Steam and every other platform knows is too smart for their own good. You should start acting like you're too smart for your own good and not be stuck on one device that can only play a certain amount of games that they tell you can play. There's just too many games that the Steam Deck can't play that I've always wanted to play on the go, and I see that as unfortunate, but at the same time, it's only natural that someone like me wants more and wants something more nostalgic opposed to what's new and verified and what they want me to play. I want to play things that other people create, and I'm a huge Sonic fan, and I love that fan-made game, Sonic Omens. I play that all the freaking time, and I've been playing that on the ROG Ally, and guess what happened when I tried to play it on the Steam Deck? Just didn't work. There's tons of third-party Sonic games that just do not work on the Steam Deck, and that's very unfortunate. But I guess just to stop my droning, the last reason my Steam Deck is collecting dust is just because the ROG Ally has a much better docking experience. You can just crank the thing up to turbo mode and play pretty much any game you want. You don't have to worry about if the resolution is too high. Oh, I'm just going to put it at 900p because I know that the system crashes at 1080p. And that's not the system's fault, it's just not strong enough. So naturally, the ROG Ally just appeals to me a lot more because it is more powerful. And it's crazy, right? A PC gamer wants something that's more powerful? Naturally, yes. When something else is available that's more powerful than ROG Ally, you bet your ass I'm going to be talking about it. And of course, there's a lot of people out there that just say, oh, you're talking about this a lot, you must be a fanboy. You don't have to be a fanboy to like something. I feel like that's just a bad way of dismissing what someone's talking about just because you don't like what they're talking about. I'm sorry you don't like what I'm talking about, but honestly, I'm not a fan of the Steam Deck community. I don't like how they need to talk down about something just to make their system seem better. So I end up doing the same thing with ROG Ally, but I just like the freedom of it. And because the Steam Deck can't do those things, it does make it a deal breaker in some ways. It's becoming harder and harder to enjoy playing games on my Steam Deck. And I think the Steam Deck community has a big part in that, because as soon as they see you talking about something else, they're like some kind of jealous girlfriend and they stop watching your videos. Oh my gosh, he's mentioning another system right in front of me. I'm not going to be here anymore. Who cares? I'm just mentioning something I'm enthusiastic about. And honestly, that kind of turned me off to play my Steam Deck for a little while after that. Probably like 2 weeks, but now it's turned into a month of not playing my Steam Deck. And it's a sad thing because I fully customized my Steam Deck. It is completely future ready, and I just find it more convenient to play the ROG Ally most of the time. So yeah, that's been my take on why my Steam Deck is collecting dust. And I appreciate everyone who's been watching my videos on the Steam Deck. I'm going to be making more Steam Deck videos soon because there's one in the holster that I've been working on for a long time, and I think everybody needs. It's going to be coming out soon. But for now, let me know how you're enjoying your ROG Ally, and if you're enjoying your Steam Deck, tell us about that as well. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great one. Later.